In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys me coaching my friend with zero card game experience on how to play yellow Katakuri for the very first time. If you guys are interested in coaching, make sure to check out the Discord. Link will be in the description of this video. And before we get any further, make sure to smash the like button, turn post notifications on, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another banger. And without further ado, let's get into the goo.
Just so you know, man, this guy's a real deal, man. This man will get you to where you want to be. I've never played any type of card game, so he's gonna teach me a lot today. What'd you do here?
So how do you feel about this hand?
It's all right. We have a lot of defense though, so I kind of like it.
Honestly, I feel like we could do a little bit better here. I want to mulligan this hand because we don't have anything to do for the first couple turns, even though we do have the 10 cost, which is ultimately our win condition. Now this hand is quite a bit better here because we have a searcher, and as well we have our turn 2 Charlotte Sparrow plus our leader ability,
So I'm
which
going to
is
use my searcher.
Yes, go ahead and use your searcher.
And then we're gonna take, man. I'm just gonna take the. We went second, right?
Yes.
So we can use. I'll just take this one.
No, we want to take the 2K. So the reason we take the 2K there is because we already have a turn 2 play. If we didn't have a Charlotte Sparrow, then I would agree with you taking the Peckhams, but because we already have 2 3-drops, it's better for us to take a 2K as our hand has very little counter.
Use my 2K.
Yes, let's go ahead and use that 2K because we want to be at a sustainable life total for when we play our Charlotte Linlin 10 drop, and on top of that, we are going to be able to look at our life, and it's always better to look at our life before we take the damage. That way we know if it's worth it, considering we are at 5 life.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put a life here and then use my Charlotte. Sound good to you?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
That's actually the best play in the entire deck, in my opinion.
So do we know where our top life is?
No, this is the second turn, so we want to look at our life. So what are you thinking here? Top or bottom?
I like top.
I agree.
That has a trigger.
Yes. And that is actually an extremely relevant trigger because normally we don't want to play that card against red because we would lose a life and we can't afford to do so. But because the trigger effect doesn't cause us to lose a life, it's actually insane for removing his early board pressure. So here he's going to go and attack us for 5. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we can't really do much. We can use this one actually.
So I disagree with that. We want to go ahead and take the damage here because we know our top card is a trigger that kills a character, and that's going to allow us to kill his Nico Robin before it attacks. See, this is a great example of why you don't want to attach Dawn on characters until you're going to make the attack, because since we triggered, he now lost 1 Dawn that he could have used to attach to his leader.
So now we can use our cracker.
Yes, sir.
Resolve it.
Had he not attached to his Nico Robin before attacking with his Nami, he would have 1 more Dawn available here. So he killed our Sparrow, and we get to look at the top 3 to reveal a Big Mom Pirates card.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and take the Big Mom here. Good choice. The Big Mom is ultimately our main win condition in almost every matchup. So the faster that we have that, the better. And on top of that, we revealed 2 of them. So if we didn't take it there, it's unlikely that we would be able to get to another one before the game ends because those are going on the bottom and we only have 4 in deck.
So now take me next to the play.
So here, I want you to think, what is the most efficient way you can remove both of his characters from the field? He has a 0 attack character as well as a 2000 attack character. And remember, ideally, we would like to be 2 above whatever the attack total is. Great. Now, we want to be 2 above because that's demanding 2 cards.
I got a good play. So we got 3. I can use Sanji and put 1 on here.
So I would prefer that you don't play the Sanji just because red has a lot of removal and you don't want to play that card down in matchups where the guy can remove it before you get value.
Okay. So just go ahead and attack here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and attack first. But because we have 6... Yeah, we want to keep 2, okay. But let's attach 1 to our leader. Even though we're going to attack his Nami, this will give us more information. And since we have the Dawn available to do so, we might as well.
We know ours, right?
We do not. We took the damage of the one we knew. So here, this is a card that we actually want to place on bottom because the trigger effect is only really applicable when it's your last life.
Alright, now we play our... Okay, now we play this.
Yes.
And it ends turn.
So while Charlotte Cracker and Sparrow are the best cards to have on top of your life, Ikoku Sovereignty is actually the best card to have on your last life because it has a trigger that says when you take a damage, discard 2 cards, get a life from the top of your deck. So now we know if he tries to go for game, we can discard 2 cards, get an additional life, and then he won't actually be able to kill us.
We'll let this die out.
Yes. That card doesn't really generate much value for us since it has nothing to attack, and it's almost always not worth it to attach Dawn to make it a 5k character because a lot of our plays cost high amounts of Dawn. So you're going to go ahead and get a search here because you removed our Sparrow once again. So what are you thinking?
I'll take the 2k counter.
You can't actually take the 2k counter here, unfortunately, because he is not a Big Mom Pirates type, so you actually have to take the Peckhams. So the reason we're not taking the Thunderbolt is because versus red, you can't actually afford to lose a life because they can rush you down. And on top of that, we know that we're going to put down our Charlotte Katakuri this turn and put out our Big Mom next turn. So we're pretty much mapped out for the next couple turns. And that's what I want you to be thinking about. What are we doing for the next couple of turns?
And we're still looking pretty healthy too right now. We got full lifestyle. So we're looking pretty good. We gotta do this right here.
Yes.
Add to the bottom or top?
I would say we can attach that one to the top because going into the late game, that's not a very good card for him to play, so we don't mind him getting it again.
We're looking pretty healthy right now.
Yeah, the main components that you want to be thinking about are how can I go into the late game being as healthy as possible so that we can put down as many 10 cost Big Moms as we have in order to beat our opponent in a battle of attrition.
Get rid of Sanji, right?
Yes. You know why we want to get rid of Sanji?
Because it don't really matter, because you'd rather use Big Mom.
Yes, but also, if we didn't get rid of Sanji, we would have had to discard 2 cards instead of 1 because he is a 2k and the other cards in our hand are 1k.
Honestly, I think we counter this too. But that's 2, right?
That is 2 cards. It's kind of up to you. I don't think it really matters. I think we can probably just take this damage here because he could use his leader ability to attack one more time and then we wouldn't have counter for it.
Do a trigger?
Yes. What do you think we discard here?
We can discard Peckhams.
So I would prefer we discard Charlotte Katakuri because I don't think we're going to have time to play a second one since next turn we're playing our Big Mom.
Yeah.
Typically Charlotte Katakuri isn't very good in this matchup because most of his characters don't cost a lot of Dawn, so it's not really the most efficient removal.
Okay. Would you go 5-on-5? Or would
Yes.
you go 5-on-5 right?
Yeah, so let's attack 5-on-5 first. Because if he discards a card here, then he's going to ultimately have his unit die regardless. So the more cards we get out of his hand, the better. And he went ahead and discarded a 2k here. So now we can attack it again with our leader for 5. The more cards we get out of his hand, the better. Because that card advantage is going to stop him from killing us at all.
All right, now we go with the leader.
Yes. And see, that was really good for us because he should have just let it die anyway because we were going to be able to kill it no matter what. So the 2k counter he discarded out of his hand was essentially an additional resource lost that he didn't need to use. So he goes ahead and counters out of the attack. And now we are free to play whatever we want to here.
Wait, it's my turn?
It was your turn. You just attack. He just countered out.
Okay, now we get turn.
So now we've just removed the card that we actually knew that he had in the life. And that's completely fine. We could have potentially put the Nico Robin on the bottom of the life, but we didn't know that we were going to be able to trash that with our Big Mom, considering we had multiple attackers up. So now we're in a very good position here because we're at 4 life and we already have 2 high-level threats on board. On top of that, we have a Charlotte Pudding in hand, which could get us another Big Mom.
I'll use this one.
Let's go ahead and use the Peckhams first. The reason we want to discard that one is because the Opera is probably better for us to play if we do end up keeping a card. So he's attacking 8 on 6, and we don't have enough counter, so we're going to go ahead and let that die, and that's completely fine. Now, some people may be thinking that we discarded our Peckhams for no value because he killed it anyway, but ultimately, we discarded that card in order to mitigate a damage to our life total, which is way more important than maintaining card advantage here. So what are you thinking here?
We can do this one.
Yes. So the reason that's fine is because he has no more unrested characters, so we know that he can no longer make another attack, so our character was confirmed to live. And some people may think we should have let that die so we could get a search, but I would prefer that we keep it alive so we can use it to answer his characters on our turn.
So what are you thinking here?
So go ahead and start off with our Charlotte Pudding so we can see if what we get changes what we want to do. What we're doing is we're creating options for ourselves before we commit to any plays.
What would you pick out here?
What do you think?
I'm thinking a 2K.
We could get a 2K. I think that's fine because we do have another searcher. If we didn't have another Charlotte Pudding, we would probably get the Opera so that we could still generate a threat. But because we have another searcher, we can look to find another high value card to play.
Big Mama.
I agree. So even though we can't play that card this turn, that's completely fine because we're going to be able to hold up 2 Dawn to use our event. So we're probably going to be pretty healthy next turn anyway.
Should we keep 2?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So put aside 2. You know that you're going to only be able to play with 6 now. And think about how you can most efficiently answer the characters on board. So he has a 6K Luffy. So how can we get 2 above that most efficiently?
Either these 2?
Yeah, that's fine.
7. All right, let's go.
That's 7. He is a 6. So you want to make him 8. You want to be 2 above.
8. There we go. Attack.
So being 2 above is what we consider in the community a magic number because it would demand 2 cards from his hand. Okay. And since he only has 2 cards, he most likely will not be able to counteract that attack.
2 more on here.
I don't think we need to attach anymore. We can just use our 7 that's currently active on our leader to attack his 3 attack Dadan. Because yeah, that's 3 on 7, and he has no Dawn up, so it's physically impossible for him to defend that character.
Yeah, we are top line. Oh,
okay.
Okay, that was a quick one.
You just moved to the bottom. Wait? Look over on the scroll thing. On the prompts to the left.
Right here. Oh, right here.
Yeah, the text. So you just moved a Katakuri to the bottom of the life. So you probably want to do that anyway. That's completely fine.
I do this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and attack his leader. So while we could play our Sanji, we're just going to go ahead and pass here because even though we can't do anything with the additional Dawn, we didn't need to attach anymore to our leader because it was a confirmed hit. And now he's thinking that we have 4 Dawn available to play events when we only actually have 1 event that only uses 2 of our Dawn. So it's kind of a form of bluff for our opponent. And since we didn't have anything better to do, we might as well do that.
Do you want to block this with this?
I think that's fine. He doesn't really have any other threats on the board. If he wants to commit Dawn to killing that, that's completely fine with us because then he's not threatening our health total. Yeah. And we have another Big Mom coming, so as long as we're healthy, we're good to go. Even though he reduced our Perospero to 3,000 this turn, he still has to attach Dawn. So now we can't defend that, so we have to let it die, and that's completely fine.
Which one? What do you want to take?
What do you want to take?
I'll take the event.
We want to take the Cracker.
Yeah.
The reason we want to take that is because we know we're playing Big Mom next turn, so we won't even be able to use that next turn. So he's attacking for 7. We'd have to discard both of our cards, so I don't think that's worth it. He's demanding too many resources from us.
Trigger?
Yeah, so we want to go ahead and do that. Now we can look and see if we can get some more 2Ks in our hand, which we did reveal another 2K. So this is going to give us even more defense for when we play our 10 cost next turn. Okay, you just discarded our 2K.
Oh, we won anyways?
Yeah.
Sweet. So talk me through what we also want to kind of talk about, like what our opponent is and what his leader is too, so they can kind of get a little gist of it.
So first off, how do you feel about this hand?
I kind of like it because we want to start.
He's going second. Understand that.
I don't like it. I kind of want mulligan. Just because we don't really have a winning condition.
We don't, but we do have 2 Charlotte Perospero. I'm fine with you doing either. I think this is an okay hand. We could do better, but we could also get worse. Because Perospero is one of the better cards we could open going first, since we'll actually be able to play him. So So while we don't have a 10 cost Big Mom in hand, our Pero Sparrows are 2 forms of searching, which we can use to dig for either a 10 cost Big Mom or a Charlotte Pudding, which could get us a 10 cost Big Mom. And since we have 2 2Ks in our hand, we're looking pretty healthy. Go ahead and hover over his stage. I've never actually seen that card. You may rest the stage. If you have CP9, you can give someone -2. Okay, this is a terrible card. What the fuck?
Alright, so
what do you think we do here?
We'll go ahead and just attack.
Yeah.
And then use our Sparrow.
Correct. So this is why it's such an advantage to go second, because now we're doing the same play we would like to do normally, but we can't use our leader ability. That's why going second is so good and why I play the maximum amount of 3-drop cards in this deck.
Go ahead and play that.
Yes. And one of the important things to understand about this leader is when he attacks a character or he gets KO'd, he can unrest his leader and use it to attack again. So we want to be thinking about how we can play around that and change the way that we think. On top of that, he has an 8 cost card in his deck that says if we have 6 or more cards in hand, he makes us discard 2 cards. So when he gets to the 8 Dawn turn, we actually want to make sure we have less than 6 cards.
I kind of want to take this because I kind of don't give up 2 cards.
I agree. But why do you want to take it?
Yeah, just because I don't want to discard all those cards and...
Yeah, you would have to discard 2.
And then we got a trigger.
Yes, that's amazing.
Go ahead and use that trigger.
Yeah.
We want to trash... I'll trash this one. Or Sanji. No. Actually, yeah, this one right here.
Yes. We want to trash that one because Shirahoshi is a card we're only playing in our deck because it has an insane trigger effect.
What's up with all these Sanjis, man?
Bro, you're playing Sanji control. Sanji P now.
We got 5. We got 2 though. Why not add another one, right?
I agree. So we put aside 3 because we're always playing that.
Yeah.
Now we have 2 Dawn to attach to anyone we want.
Yeah, we don't really, that doesn't really matter here, right?
It doesn't really matter, but we want to attack with our characters first, just in case he gets a trigger.
So do you want to add any to these?
We can attach 1 if you would like, but we always want to save 1 for our leader so we can look at life.
Yeah, go ahead and look at that. Attack that. Yeah, you guys want to always make sure about your leader too, because you don't want to give up any information on that.
Yeah, and so he actually did get a trigger. So it was better that we attacked with our character first, because if we attack with leader, then he kills something before we attack, and we did have 2, so we can do it either way, but it's just a good habit to build.
And I was telling Ashby too, that was my issue too, is not understanding their leader abilities and stuff, and so you always want to make sure you're looking at that and see what they got.
Yeah, always read your opponent's cards, because this game is based off anticipation, and you want to think about what could they do, so you could optimize your turns around it.
So we got 3. We'll add 1.
Yes.
Add 1 Dawn to it, so we can activate.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and attack.
Our leader ability gives us insane value.
So look at ours, because we don't know what ours are.
Yes.
Right? And then we got Charlotte Pudding. We got plenty of counter, so we can put that on the bottom.
I agree. So it's pretty self-explanatory. We added the Big Mom off of our search because that is our win condition. So we always want to make sure we can get to that. And that's why I was okay keeping this hand, because we did have 2 searchers and you need to get Big Mom in order to win most matchups.
And then we'll go ahead and intern. Actually, we still have 3, so we can go ahead and add Charlotte.
Yes.
Bam, bam. And then we can't do anything, right?
No, we just played that guy, so we can't attack.
Okay.
So he went ahead and put a searcher of his own. So over on the side, it tells you what he added. Since you're new to the game, you don't really know what it is. So just know that he can kill something 5 or less with an effect.
So here, you pretty much let it die, right?
Yeah, that's actually one of the cards we're way more comfortable letting it die, because we get to add a card from the top of our deck on death, so we're not even losing a card.
And go ahead and tell us which one would you pick out here? Big Mama? Why not have Big Mom control?
Yes. So we know that we're looking pretty healthy going into the late game, and for that reason, I have a good feeling we're going to be able to afford to play 2 Big Moms in a row.
We'll let it die, man.
Yeah. You know why we're going to let it die?
Because we don't want to, that's too many cards to really
Yes.
lose and stuff.
So he's attacking for 9, which means we would have to discard 3 cards. But in order for him to do that, he had to discard 2 cards of his own in order to re-attack. So that's completely fine for us.
So we got 7 to play with. Talk me through it.
So here, we know that we're probably going to want to play our Charlotte Opera because it's the highest value card in our hand. And at the same time, we're not going to be able to play Big Mom next turn. It's kind of unfortunate we have 3. So what I'm thinking is we actually wanted to attack with both of our people on board and attach no Dawn to them, because now we can play our 3-cost character and our 4-cost character.
5-on-5.
It's a bit unfortunate we can't afford to use our leader ability this turn, but that's completely fine because we have enough counter in our hand that we can afford to play both our 3-cost Peckhams and our 4-cost Charlotte O'Para.
Yeah. And we just pretty much had him use a 2K counter just so. And
Yes.
another one, look at that. And he's only down to 2 cards, so we're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and use our Charlotte Oprah, deploy that, and then we'll use our Peckhams too.
Yep.
And we're looking pretty good right now. We're looking pretty healthy. We'll see how it leads us. We'll go ahead and end turn.
Another thing to think about is because he just discarded 2 2Ks on your 5K attacks, that should indicate to you that he either has a very weak hand or he does not have any 1K counter cards in it. So now we feel comfortable hitting for lower interval attacks because we know he currently doesn't have 2Ks unless he top decked one. Or I mean, currently has 1Ks. So that was the card we actually knew we had in his hand. You were just new to the game, so you don't know what that is. But he can kill something 5 or less on play, and that's why it was good for us to generate 2 characters, because if we would have only played 1, he's just removing 1, and then we have less characters on field.
Go ahead and counter this.
Yeah, we kind of have to because we're not going to be able to play Big Mom next turn, and we need to be healthy.
Go ahead and counter this too.
Yeah, we're kind of in an unfortunate situation because we're on the play with 3 Big Mom, but as long as he doesn't kill us too fast, we're going to be able to stabilize.
Would you want to use Sanji?
No, we don't have enough counter in our hand, and we need to make sure that we're healthy next turn so we can play our Big Mom.
Pretty much go all out and down, right?
Yes. We're not going to play anything this turn. We just want to attach everything. So we always know that we're going to kill his rested character.
And I kind of want to bluff too and just leave 2.
Yes, I agree. But let's kill his rested character. You're kind of attaching an excessive amount of Dawn, but you don't have anything else to do, so it's really not the worst.
Yeah.
Since our leader ability gives us 1 Dawn in addition to our 2, we'll attach our last Dawn to our leader so we can attack for 9 instead of 8, which is demanding a total of 3 cards minimum from his hand, and he only has 2.
We know ours?
No, we do not know ours.
Put down the bottom?
Yeah. But we do know that our second to last life is a 2K counter because we put that on the bottom of the deck earlier, and that's important to remember when thinking about if we want to take damage.
It would have been nice to have that 7 cost now since we're going first.
Yeah, but it was just revealed to us way too late.
Yeah. So go ahead and turn. We're looking good right now. Let's go 7-on-5. Kind of want to take this because I don't want to lose 2 cards on that.
Yeah, we have to take this, unfortunately, because if we don't, then he could just use his leader to attack one of our characters. We can't defend it, which will allow him to use his leader ability, which makes it to where he can attack a second time.
Yeah.
Now we have the opportunity to potentially negate his attack on our character, not giving him another attack.
We'll go and block this, right? With the 1K. Oh, we don't have 1K. We'll go use 2K. It's fine.
And keep in mind, we also know that our next life card is a 2K counter as well. And like I was telling you before, he has a card in his deck that says if we have 6 or more cards in hand, we discard 2. So by discarding a card there, we play around him having that card. So now he gets to restand his leader once again, because he killed our character anyway.
Okay, so go ahead and counter.
Yes.
Sanji?
It doesn't really matter at this point. You can only play Big Mom. That's like the only action you have to do here.
Okay, I'll go ahead and attack.
You can't attack that guy because he's 7.
And we know now that he can't do much about this one.
Yeah, we know that this attack is going to go through because he is at 0 cards in hand. And on top of that, we're in a really good situation because in the black deck, there's no cards with the rush ability, so he can't make an immediate attacker during his turn, and he only has 3 potential attacks this turn. So since we're at 3 life, he can only do 3 damage maximum.
So let me ask you, if we stay alive, play Big Mama, that's game over, right? No matter what?
Maybe, but I'm thinking next turn, we probably just go for game unless he has multiple blockers, because he's already at 0. We don't need to play a Big Mom. We wouldn't even deal a damage to him with the effect.
That's what I was asking, because like I thought if it takes a life, I mean, maybe I thought it was game.
No, that's the deficiency of the yellow cards, and that's why I don't like the 7 cost that much, because if you play it, he can just choose to take a life, and he's if it's 0, then nothing happens.
Yeah.
But it's looking like if he doesn't have 2 blockers here, we're probably going to be able to kill him, considering we have 3 attackers and he can't kill us this turn.
He can't kill these guys right here.
No, he could.
Yeah.
He could. But the thing is, we have 3 life, so he
Yeah.
can't kill our health total this turn.
Yeah.
He only has 2 cards in hand, and most black cards that kill something require you to discard a card.
Yeah.
So that card says he has to discard a card to kill one of ours. So yes, he can kill our Big Mom, but now he has no cards in hand, which means even though he kills our last character here, we can just dawn up our leader to 15 and punch him in the face for game.
Go ahead and save it.
We don't have to do anything here. It doesn't matter. Next turn, we just attack with our leader for game.
Okay, let it die.
Because he's at 0 cards.
Let it die.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want here.
Yeah.
You automatically win.
Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and take this one.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And you can just take all of these attacks because we're attacking for game next turn. And now we can just attack with our leader for 5. He has no cards in hand. That's just game.
Doesn't even matter if we put down on it, does it?
No, we just have confirmed game.
Bam. That's it, man. Hopefully you got a lot from this, and I'm gonna go you guys give a recap. It's like I've never really played any card game. Just from working with Ashby just for a couple hours and stuff, he just taught me a lot, and he taught me the ways of the game and the ways to look at it and the ways to counter and everything. So he really gets you down to detail. So I really recommend it. I mean, like I said, I've never played any of that in my life. I never knew anything about that. No Yu-Gi-Oh, nothing like that. So if you really want to get in the game and want to learn, it's really fun, honestly. Because I never really played cards like that. So it was really fun to learn about that too.
For sure. And I would say the biggest advantage of this game is it's probably the easiest card game to teach someone how to play who's never had any experience. And that's allowed me to get a lot of friends that I was never able to get into like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic because it was just too over their head. And if you guys want to see more content with this man, maybe we'll show what happens after his first tournament. A little bit of a progression series. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if it's not the goo, it's got to go. Peace.
We'll see you the next time.